Welcome to 10,000 Villages and our Bunyad rug event, which we're holding here at our store in downtown Brandon. So we'd like to welcome everybody here. It's pretty exciting to us to have so many friends and some supporters coming. Our friends Yusuf and Jenny have come a very long way, and we're very, very happy to have them back again. Since 2023, this is our third rug event that we've had, and Jenny and Yusuf have come each time to give us support, to show us what to do, and to tell us wonderful stories about the rugs and the lives of people that we are really wanting to work with. Just a little bit about 10,000 Villages store. We have been here, and there's many of you who have a long history in the store for 35 years. It's been our mission to provide a marketplace for artisans in the global south. And just to say, here is a chance to bring the beautiful handmade crafts that you have, and that way we help them support children, healthcare, make a better life, because we have so many benefits here in our country of Canada. So let's share our wealth that we have with the rest of the world. So that's our mission. So Bunyad is a very, very important part of this mission. And we would like especially thanks Jenny and Yusuf. We've got some of our staff here, our manager Bhumi, our assistant manager Jyoti are here. Many of our volunteers are here. Thank you to our musicians Holly and Nerez and Brett, who just came in. And thank you so much to Downtown Biz. Bhumi is going to talk a little bit more, and to Westman Media, so thank you so much. I'm going to pass it over to Bhumi because she has wonderful words to say as well. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. And thank you, Linda, and thank you, Yusuf and Jenny, for coming to us and bring this beautiful rugs to us and witness. All the Brandon people can witness this hand-knotted rugs. And before I move forward, I would like to thank our sponsors and supporters who supported this event this evening, and Brandon Downtown Base for sponsoring and supporting this event, and the WCG TV for covering this beautiful rugs and the story behind the rugs, and the Shea Angela and the 10,000 Villages for providing this beautiful refreshments that you can see at the back and enjoy them as much as you can. And our talented musician Holly Walker on piano, and the Norris Leister Chaman on guitar. And thank you for filling the space with beauty and warmth. And last but not the least, but the special presentation with Jenny and Yusuf. They will present and they will kind of share the stories behind the rugs and the deeper knowledge about the rugs that we all can sunk in. And yes, and now I will move forward and give it to you guys, and you can share. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Should we make ourselves comfortable?
I was going to say, I see an awful lot of people standing up. These rugs are for sitting.
Yeah, please make yourself comfortable.
So what we'd like to do tonight is talk a little bit about these carpets, but this is an art gallery. And who goes to an art gallery and just sits for a presentation? No one. So we're going to talk a little bit about the rugs, and then we're going to have you mix and mingle and go grab some food. Please grab lots. The Shea Angela Bakery is just downright dangerous, I have to say. And then what we'll do is every so often in between the interlude of music, we'll stop and say, all right, do you know ... and talk a little bit more. So that's sort of how the evening will go. As Linda said and Bhumi said, I'm Jenny. This is Yusuf.
I'm Yusuf.
And we are from Bunyad. We work with over 850 families throughout 100 villages in Pakistan. And a little background, Yusuf and I started working together in 1994 as very young children, right? Yeah. Okay, good. As very young children. In 2000, we realized that we liked to do more than work together. We sort of liked each other. And in 2003, ready for the punchline, we tied the knot. So Yusuf and I have been enjoying working with the families of Pakistan ever since, and are passionate. Because when you can see the difference that fair pay makes in people's lives, be it in Pakistan or in Canada, it is empowering for them. And I think for all of us to realize that we know you're coming up on an election really, really soon, but we can vote for the change we want to see in the world every single day by deciding where we spend our economic dollar. If we do believe in making certain that people are treated fairly and paid fairly and cared for fairly, if we shift our purchases to fair trade, it makes a huge difference. Fair trade chocolate, fair trade tea, fair trade rugs. Oh, and fair trade bananas, yes. So, Yusuf, how about you tell us a little bit more about the 850 families and how Bunyad got started?
So Bunyad started back in late 60s to early 70s. It's an organization started with only 10 families and has worked its way to include over 850 families, which is the result of, of that collaboration is what you're seeing on the floor, these beautiful rugs. Such a diversity, such a variety of colors and designs. They're all made by individual families, so there's a vast variety of colors that come together. Great majority of these rugs are made with natural dyes, all hand spun wool. So it is going back to the basic how rugs were made for centuries. As a matter of fact, the region has over 2,500 years of history. So it's all making sure that art form continues to thrive, making sure that artisans have a choice of making individual rugs through the practice of fair trade. And when we say fair trade means giving artisans the choice of choosing color, design, and then saying, this is the fair dollars, what I really need to have 3 meals a day, education for my children, and a good living conditions. A condition that would allow them to be in the village if there's an earthquake, a condition that would allow them to be in the same village if there's a natural flooding. There's all kinds of disasters that take place globally. And over the years, one thing we find all the time is that when artisans receive a fair income, they continue to live in their own communities. There's not a single artisan family that I've ever met that want to leave their villages. So this is an art form that has been around in each village. When you look at a rug, you can tell, oh, I know exactly where that rug came from. Majority of the rug also have the label of the name of the artisan. This is when the artisan does allow us to put their name on the tag, but there will also be village listed too. So in this day and age, you can just Google it and see where it's made. I remember having an artisan come to North America and actually showed him his village, his place on a Google map, and he couldn't believe that we can see his house. And he was just so thrilled to see that. So you can see that too. So these are rugs that have a real connection to the artisan, but also the artisan is choosing how the rugs are made. In the group of artisans, there's a wide variety from north to south. Even the climates are very different. So having such a large variety of artisans working together, creating rugs, is a pretty amazing phenomena. And it's all possible because of fair trade. And so when we say fair trade, what does that mean? Well, I'll give you a small example. Back in 2005 and 5, there was an earthquake in Pakistan. In a matter of 16 seconds, more than 80,000 people lost their lives. In a matter of that 16 seconds, 3 million people were left homeless. And when study conducted to figure out why that much destruction took place, the basic finding was that if all of those households or families had additional money between $250 to $400, they could have put that money towards building a stronger foundation. That is what was needed to add to that house. Majority of those people would have walked out. And so when we say fair trade is putting more than 10% money into the hands of artisans every day. I would say in the case of rugs, it's pretty much double what what the market would give them. So on average, rugs, each rug made, sold in North America or anywhere in the world, 15 to 18% is what artisan ends up with. In the case of fair trade, it's more than double that money. So when that much more money is going to the hands of the artisans, they're living their life in the village where they grew up. They want to promote the culture of that village, and you'll see that culture even in the rugs. And this is a group of people, both men and women working. You have a husband, wife, you have sisters working together, you have friends working together, you have neighbors working together. And every village you go to, which Jenny and I were just recently back in Pakistan, and it's like there's like so much going on. They want to keep that tradition alive. So their desire to make each rug so unique is there with every single artisan. And when they know that the rug is sold to somebody in North America, and they're gonna have this rug for the next century, I mean, it's a pretty amazing to think that your product is gonna outlast you. Most of us will be long gone and these rugs will still be around. You know, it's not every day you find those things. So these rugs not only represent quality and the value for the artisans, this is a product that would make your house look beautiful every day. And you will build many memories on these rugs. They're made to last a lifetime. The materials are locally sourced. This is all renewable materials. These are all resources that people pretty much find in their villages. So this is a product that would, has been around and will be around if we continue to support it. So fair trade is a very powerful tool that is making big changes in lives of many artisans around the world.
Ring around the rosy. All right, tonight's your night, everybody. However, we're not going to fall down because we realized that somehow we all popped up a lot easier when we were 10. So, in all seriousness, come on over here. We're going to circle around this rug pile, okay? And we're going to talk to you about the magic of the carpet. So, circle around like you're, at one big get-together. That's it. Come all around. Now I want you, come join us. Don't worry, remember, I won't make you sing, and I won't make you hold hands and go around, although that would be awfully cute. All right, so I want you to look at the rug at where you're standing right now. Okay? What do you see? Look at how deep the colors are, how light the colors are. What colors are in this rug? Deep red, right? Blue, ivory. What else do you see?
Green.
Green. A little bit of apricot. All right, now, ready? Turn to your left. I want you to walk around. We're going to do a full 360 and keep looking at the rug. Look at how the colors change. So, keep walking. Maybe we should sing. Ring around the rosy, pockets full of posy ashes. Anyone on this side? Did the rug change? Yeah, what's going on here? Well, there's a light side and dark side to every rug. So just like corduroy has a nap, so do these rugs. Because when you're nodding, you're pulling the pile down, and it's sort of at an angle. So it casts a shadow. So this happens with every rug, regardless of where you have it. So you know what? Sometimes people call us and say, oh, I feel like I got 2 rugs. They didn't. They just got 1. And they only paid for 1, but they really got 2 rugs no matter what. All right, let's go sit down. And if my rug nodders could hop up on the rug pile.
Where are the rug nodders?
Rug nodders, hop up on the rug pile. All right, and I'm gonna have you all face, so let's see here. I'm gonna have you sit right here. You're gonna sit right here. You're gonna be on this side. And the girl in my gorgeous dress is gonna sit right here. All right, now here's a disclaimer. None of our rugs are made by children. Why is that? Why is that? Because number one, children should be studying their school, not working. And fair trade makes certain that parents are earning enough money so that kids can go to school. Why are you my demo rug knotters? Because watch this. Who else wants to come over here and sit crisscross applesauce in this rug pile? Yeah, okay, other than Ruth. All right, so that's why. So here's what I want to demonstrate. So I'm going to put these here for a minute. So an expert knotter can knot 40 knots a minute. 40 knots a minute with a knife like this. Okay, so I'm going to have you hold the knife. Okay, so you're knotting, and you're following a pattern called a tullum. Okay, so a tullum is like a large counted cross stitch, or like a large, it's like a large recipe in essence. But here's the thing, and this is what's amazing, all right? You're gonna hold the panja, you're gonna hold the scissors. Okay, so you are reading your tullum, okay? And you're saying something like this. 2 green, repeat after me, 2 green.
2 green.
3 red.
3 red.
4 blue.
4 blue.
2 light blue.
2 light blue.
So on and so forth.
So on and so forth.
Okay, so you are reading the design, and because this is a symmetrical rug, you're reading it to the person over here. Now, did you remember what she said? No, I don't. Okay, hold on, let's try it again. 2 red.
2 red.
4 blue.
4 blue.
2 light blue.
2 light blue.
3 green.
3 green.
2 red,
2 red.
4 blue,
4 blue.
2 light blue,
2 light blue.
4 green.
All right, excellent. So you guys are doing this quite good. You're keeping the pattern even. But you two are working on the design that's right in here, which is totally different than the design they're working on. So you might be saying 3 red,
3 red.
2 black,
2 black.
1 ivory,
1 ivory.
2 blue.
2 blue.
Should I ask if you remember all that? I know, that's how I feel. Now here's the thing. You're talking to one another. They're talking on top of you, and you're keeping this all straight. Isn't that quite a skill? Yeah, I know. So the rug you're sitting on, how long do you think it took to make it? Any guess? Expert knotter can knot 40 knots a minute. That piece is over 200 knots per square inch. I know. Okay, this would have taken 4 adults about a year to a year and 2 months to make. Pretty impressive, isn't it? And, question. What grades are you all in?
1,
5,
7,
7, 10. Wow. You got a lot of homework going on at your house. Excellent. Okay, so imagine if you were working, you were doing your schoolwork, and I'm taking it these might be your parents over here? Yep. Yeah? Okay. So let's switch places. You guys are off doing schoolwork. Get off the rug. Get off the rug. My goodness, you're supposed to be doing your schoolwork. Go to the other side. Parents, why don't you come on over here? And now you're knotting the rug. You don't have to sit crisscross applesauce. Unless you want to like make us all right, so here's the part that I think is amazing about fair trade. Okay, so here I'm going to give you your knife. The panja here is the tool that you're using, that once the rug one line is done, you're pounding it down to create that perfect quality, and really like pounding those knots to produce that density. But the loom is located inside your home. You're knotting 40 knots a minute. You're calling the pattern to him. And then someone needs something. Come on, guys. You know how to interrupt mom and dad. Ready? Mommy, daddy, I need. What do you need? What would you normally say, I need?
Caleb hit me.
Oh, yeah, that's
Caleb hit me.
And you say?
I need help in the shop.
Okay. So this is exactly what a Pakistani house looks like. Now it's amazing because these two people can work together harmoniously, I'm certain, right? All right, excellent. Harmoniously in their village homes, each earning the same wage. Again, what a novel concept, men and women earning equal wage for equal jobs. I do believe we're trying to still make that happen here in North America. But they can do it while they're coupling it with raising a family, helping with homework, all within their home community, and they're helping to develop their home community. That's fair trade. Thank you for being willing participants in this. I just feel that that's so important to understand and to feel, and I'm very happy that we've had all of you willing subjects to act it out. A big round of applause for our actors. Thank you.
So, Jenny mentioned about the women in the villages of Pakistan. All the rugs are made by families in their home. Over 60% are women. And the goal is to, by putting a loom in the home, everybody has a say in colors and designs and everything. Like Jenny mentioned, this rug. There's only a handful of artisans who make this type of rug. This type of rug, these are called Belgic rugs. They only come in red color. This has been the tradition for centuries. You can find, a 500-year-old rug and it will be still like red. So each village, each origin has their own tradition. And having that tradition tied to a fair wage, imagine how powerful that is. Knowing that somebody values your work all the way in thousands of miles away. And again, like I said earlier, legacy, 100-year, 200-year-old rug, still around. In Toronto, we did get to see some rugs that are 600 years old. It's actually at the Aga Khan Museum. They have a center also there, so it's all about education. If you ever get a chance, please go stop there to see so much other educational stuff. It's a beautiful museum. But also they have a rug that is 600 years old. And the rug only has 100 knots per square inch, but the rug's been around. So the rugs have a long life, If you properly clean them, just regular vacuum, they're made to last. And the best part, it's made by artisans in the villages, both men and women having the say. You also see some rugs when we have a chance, or if you've already seen some of the rugs, there's like all kinds of colors, including purple rugs. Jen, could you grab that kilim right there in front of you with the purple?
Actually, could I have a helper roll it out?
Yes, please.
Excellent. Want to be able to help you? Excellent. Want to take that over to Yusuf? Excellent. Pull it backward.
Perfect. Look at that. You would not have seen purple rugs before. There's been many colors that are done because of fair trade that traditionally artisan will not try to do that, mainly because imagine making a rug and you have to go sell in the marketplace, and you want to make sure that there's a fair price or a good price at the end. And so often artisan will try to stick with the traditional colors because it's safe, it's guaranteed. But imagine if you're guaranteed a fair wage from day one and you know how much money you're going to make and not have to worry about, whatever the end results are, I'm going to have that money. And the commitment with the fair trade is that artisan is fully paid before the product leaves their home. That also means the artisan can ask for 50% upfront in advance. That also means they're provided all the raw materials and the looms and tools and everything. That includes these things right here, for example. Often these tools and everything's made within the same villages, so there's a variety of artisans get the opportunity to work together. That means people who do woodwork, people who do metalwork, people who fix looms. There's a wide variety of things happen. And in return, when that money comes into the village, you have local shops like grocery stores, you have somebody who sells clothing, all helping each other. And we've seen in times when there was a high inflation, number of times I've seen those examples, Artisans and groups of people will pull together resources and go buy wholesale instead of trying to challenge a grocery store. They'll say, okay, you know what? Why don't we just group our money together and go buy wholesale? That's the best way to bring down the price. So they'll do that. And that's all happening because when there's fair trade, there's a greater interest in trying to make their community healthy, keeping the tradition alive, and it's everybody being part of it. So there's no gender. It's all about the community. And I've seen that example time after time from one village to the other. And that is the result of that you're seeing here in these rugs. Just to give you an idea, I've seen many, many rugs that have been placed in homes here in North America, over 30 years old. And those rugs have not been washed yet. They have not had any major cleaning. How many other kind of carpeting that you can have 30 years or older and never been cleaned? Can you imagine that? That's how durable these rugs are. And recently, Jenny and I were in Pakistan. We got to see shepherds taking their herds around. And along the way, you also see some sheep being shorn. And this is the time of the year. It's springtime usually April is when all the sheep are shorn. Once a year, on average, a sheep produces between 4 to 6 pounds of wool. A rug of this size, a 9 by 12, which is the bottom rug, will have over 300 pounds of wool that you need to start with. That wool will be produced by over 68 to 70 sheep in a full year. And then somebody has to take that wool, spin that by hand with the spindle, collect enough dyes, because all the dyes are produced with natural ingredients like onion skins, pomegranate shells. Could you show that little beautiful board, natural dye board, Jen? It's right behind you.
Yes, look at this.
Just so everybody can see.
Family has it.
Yes. So those are the natural ingredients that artisans use. These are things that people grow around their communities, like onion skins, the pomegranate shell, pomegranate. It's very common to walk into somebody's house and there will be 5, 6 pomegranate trees. And people use the fruit, but you save the peels and turn it into natural dyes. So it's not something you're having to go do something. It's part of life. And that's why life in the village is so important, because everything organically comes together. And there's also ties to the nature. Actually, there's a BBC documentary. Sometime if you get a chance to see, the crane migration takes place every year. Coming from Siberia, they go down south, or crossing into Pakistan. The mountains are too high, like the Himalayas and the Karakorams. It takes them about 2 or 3 weeks to cross over. They're pretty hungry and tired. The first thing they have to do is land in the fields and get some food. If people did not live in the villages, it is the time of the year when the farmers are plowing the fields. Perfect timing. They can land and have instant source of food. But if people did not live in the villages, those birds will not have the ability to have food, and the whole cycle would suffer from that. So nature is tied to everything that you see here. So fair trade is much more than just producing product or rugs. It is a complete cycle that is taking place. So, when you see these rugs, they're beautiful, they're durable, they're designed that where children can sit and do their homework. When I was growing up, my brothers and sisters, we all sat on the rugs and did our homework at night. We were always encouraged to sit on the rugs, not play on the floor. You know why? Because my parents knew that if we just sat on the rug, A, we will be contained in one area, and B, it was like we won't hurt ourselves. So we were encouraged to play on the rug. So that's the kind of rugs these are. And it comes summertime when it was really hot, summer vacation, we were given the hose and soap to wash the rug. So they're made to last and they're easy to keep clean. So when you see a rug like this, especially when it's a fair trade rug, it's guaranteed to last with dyes and guaranteed to last with the materials, and it's made for life. So beautiful, high quality rugs.
this rug pile, we are going to, this time we're going to flip these rugs. So come to the edge and then take 2 steps back just so that we have space to flip. And,
People are going to be standing here.
oh yeah, right in here we can take some folks as well. And I'm wondering, Nerez, can you come and be both a rug flipper and a musician? Excellent, I knew the answer was yes. Are you sure? Okay, well then why don't I have you over here, Ruth? And then that way I'll hold the microphone and then direct it to you, Yusuf, so you can flip and talk. All right, so what we thought we'd do is as we're going through the piles, we want to talk about the different types of rugs that we have here. And the artistry and the sort of the traditions that have been following artisans through generations. So, Yusuf, take it on Belgium.
So each pile has many styles of rugs. As we go through the pile, we'll give you a quick, just brief run of the different type of rug. This being a Belgic rug, a very tribal, but very high quality rug. Just to give you an idea, this is a kind of rug that basically requires artisan to use only certain type of wool. It's all cheap wool, of course. And you're using, normally if you use 4 pounds of wool from the same sheet, you're using only quarter of that. So you're further using very refined wool. So it's a very, very fine, high quality tribal piece.
This is going to work, but would you like to hold it with one hand?
I'll
Okay,
hold
good.
it, yes. This is a Kazakh style rug. This is hand spun wool natural dyes. Again, people gather the dyes and create one of a unique color. So you'll see many colors, again, each rug. One of the unique thing about the Belgics is that you see the border. See how unique the border is. This is, even though the artisan already spent a year to make one, they still take time and finish just the edge. And that could take about a month before your rug is completed. So this is the difference of fair trade, where artisan will put time and energy into each unique rug. This is a Killam style rug, all hand spun wool natural dyes also. Reversible, you can use either side. The difference is these are more flat pile rugs. Again, they will last a very, very long time.
And folks, there's a quiz on this afterwards. Yes. Just saying. You're taking notes, right? Okay, excellent.
Again, this is a Kazakh style rug too. This is all hand spun wool natural dyes. Just to give you an idea, the Kazakhs have been made for more than 800 years like this. The word Kazakh comes from the word Kozak, which means horse riders. So people who've been, who were back in the Genghis Khan's armies. I don't know if some of you heard that name before or not, but just know that the history goes back with these rugs centuries. Again, this is a Killam, natural dye, hand spun wool, reversible both sides, so you can use, and the same artisan will make this type of rug, knows how to make this Killam also. We'll use the same loom, same materials to make this Killam. So many artisans are capable of producing variety of rugs. This is a Chobi style rug that we're just flipping. The word Chobi means something from wood, because all the dyes, everything is sourced from the plants. Even the sheep graze around these shrubs and plants and everything, and hence the word Chobi. Again, this is also Chobi style handcrafted rug, natural dyes. Imagine somebody spinning the wool for this rug at 8x10. It will take roughly about 6 to 8 months using spindle just to spin the wool. The dyeing the wool is on top of that. Collecting the right colors is another task. If one family was to do everything, they'll spend about 3 years making just one rug. And generally, even as a family group, since you take a year to make one, every family has innate desire to do something different. Usually it's hard to just hold on to like one type of rug. So this is a Persian style, typically known as very intricate floral design. These can range from 500 to 800 knots per square inch. So, and there's knot count can even go higher.
Math class. Ready? Math class. It's for all of you. This is over 500 knots per square inch. It's an 8 foot by 10 foot. How many knots total in this rug? Do 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 do. No. Over 7.7 million hand-tied knots in this rug.
So imagine every day you're tying those knots together. 4 people will sit side by side working together, tying those knots. And so the coordination, the commitment, the ability to make sure that everybody has the same, spirit for the rug, and that's like a very, very important. So you really need to get along with each other.
Okay, everybody, come close and look at this rug. Look really close. Really close. There are bugs in this rug. Okay, that was priceless. You know why I say that? Bugs, cochineal, is the natural dye that's used to make this red color. Now, you might go, ooh, but you know what? It's better than a chemical dye. And if you have a Starbucks Frappuccino raspberry flavored, or if you've had those red tortellini from Costco, you've eaten these, okay? Because it's a food-safe dye, and it makes a really, really strong, steadfast, natural dye, strong red dye. So this is the rug that has bugs. Many of them, actually, but I just thought this was the best to stop at.
And the bugs actually consume the carminic acid from the cactus, and that's the juice. You can actually get that juice in a bottle today here in Canada. So it's high in antioxidant, but that's what makes this color possible. So in this case, this is a practice that has been going on for centuries, dates back to more than 5,000 years.
So this is a Kazakh one.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what's the difference between the Kazakh and the Chobi?
The chobi, the difference is the Kazakhs have more Turkish knot. There are a different set of artisans who make those. They were more on the central side, like a central towards like Turkey and above artisans from that region. And then the chobis are more from the eastern side, what will be Iran, Pakistan. So they're more closer tied to the Persian rugs. And it has to do with the type of knot. This is Turkish knot, produces more geometric design. The chobis, which is right here, next one, they're more floral design because of the type of knot they use. And the chobi rugs have more number of colors also. In the Kazakhs, are limited to 5-6 colors, whereas the chobis, there's no range, there's no limit. And to give you an idea, if one artisan was to produce all these colors, if you start collecting these ingredients by yourself, you might need more than 3 years just to collect enough dyes. Just simple thing like, how many like to cook food at home with onions? You use onions, most people? Imagine start saving the peels of onions for a whole year. And guess how much pound of wool you can dye with all those peels? Can somebody guess?
For average North American onion usage, not thinking any Indian cooking, Pakistani cooking, or...
Well, even then you won't be that large of a quantity,
Okay, all
period.
right, well.
So roughly...
How many pounds?
Yeah.
How many pounds of wool
Any
do you
guess?
use to collect your onion shells? 1.
So on average, you can dye 2 to 4 pounds of wool at the end of the year. That's how much you have to save when it comes to raw materials.
And how many pounds of wool are in this rug?
Yeah. So an 8 by 10 will have roughly about, when an artisan makes the whole rug, you're looking at roughly about 200 to 225 pounds of wool. So you need that much wool to make one rug possible. If you go the next level, 9 by 12, then you need about 300 pounds of wool. And then imagine how many colors you need and the ingredients you need. So you need to save a lot of raw ingredients or collect those.
And we carried them all in from the street.
Yes, yes.
So if anyone doesn't know what they're doing on May 12th, we are always looking for more heavy lifters to help fold them up and carry them out to ship to the next Canadian location.
Now, this is a rug. Earlier, you guys did the ring around the rosy. Imagine people who are standing here, please walk over
Yeah, so let's do a,
and
ring,
do a
a
little,
very careful ring around the rosy on this one.
yeah, just see how much it changes its looks. The magic.
On the outside, but this is remarkable change.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? That's the magic in these rugs. Like it depends on the light of the day, the time of the day, the season, the year, and even what's surrounding these rugs. They change color, so the rug will never feel like, oh, it's just one color. It's never boring. It's like there's always something new and exciting you'll find about the rug, and more importantly, again, I keep saying this. They're so low maintenance. You know, all you do is just vacuum in your house. If you ever spill something, 90% of the time you won't even know something got spilled. But if you do see something, just take a wet wipe and just wipe it off, and that's it. So because the rugs are rich in lanolin, that's the natural oil from the sheep.
Take your hands,
Yes.
rub your hands on the rug.
Yeah, just rub your feet.
And then take it back and feel your hands. Feel that oil. That's the lanolin. That is what is between you and the rug and everything you can drop on it, which is why it does not stain. Yusuf, how do you know? How do you know it won't stain?
Because
have you dropped anything?
many a time. There's the many
Such as?
experiences.
Listen to how maybe he can listen to
We've had our puppies do things like, you know, we've had food being dropped. We've had, I don't know, there are pictures of like a spaghetti sauce jar fell on the rug. All I did is just took the rug, rinsed it with the cold water in the kitchen, from the kitchen tap, and just squeezed the water out, took a paper towel, you soaked up the moisture, and put the rug back in the floor.
the coffee pot that
And the
overflowed.
Not just one time, maybe
Many
10 times.
And then the best one, well, actually, my son really liked this one. When the kale soup fell everywhere, he was actually sort of happy because he didn't like the kale soup. So, shucks darn, but he cleaned out the rug too.
So these rugs are made to last. So when you have a rug like this, you will enjoy, and you will be telling this story to your, the next generation and the next generation.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk to the youngers here in the group. Have you thought much about your great-grandkids lately? Good answer, nor should you. However, when you're picking a rug, you might want to think what your great-great-grandkids might like, because that's how long one of these is going to hang out. That is the only time you think about your great-great-grandkids at this time in life. Got it? Excellent. All right.
This rug is a Persian rug with silk and wool combined. All the white nuts that you see are silk highlights. Artisan will do that just to highlight the design and bring out the colors. This rug has over 15 to 16 colors. So often when there's that many colors, artisan will bring silk into the rug. Sometimes the silk content could be anywhere from 10 to 30%. We've seen 100% silk rugs too. But generally, those are the percentages artisans will typically maintain. Again, this is a 8x10 that will take 4 people working side by side, tying 40 knots a minute a year to make one.
All right, Yusuf, now we're going to do fast flip. Okay, you count them and see how many we can do in a minute. Ready? That's it. Bend, stretch. You guys getting a good wind over there?
See how unique every rug is? Every rug is wonderful.
Stop on this and talk about this one.
Yeah. So this rug has indigo, which is the blue color. The indigo has been used for dyes for centuries, more than 5,000 years. And the reason I say more than 5,000 years, because rugs come from the Indus Valley region. In Indus Valley civilization, people were using these colors more than 5,000 years ago. So there's a rich history. People have been using these colors, and they've been making rugs, people making fabrics and everything. And so there's a recorded history for what kind of colors are here. And to find, imagine if you have to produce something like this, to make this deep of a color, this is a lot of work. I would challenge you sometime, take some natural dye and just produce some colors, and especially try to make this rich. You'll understand what it takes to produce one. Okay.
Actually, does everyone know how indigo is made? Do you know that when indigo comes out of the pot, it's actually green? And when it hits the oxygen, when it's oxygenated, it begins to turn the blue color. But you don't know what blue color until it is like fully oxygenated. How's that for a great word? So you really, can you imagine doing the dyeing, sort of hoping to get a certain color, but you need to know how long to keep it in there, how saturated you need to put it in there, but then also how long it needs to be sitting out and soaking up that oxygen to get these various colors. It's a magic.
And you know what the artisans do? Even though you think of these artisans in the villages, thank you. One of the cool thing about these artisans is that even though these rugs are made by artisans in the villages, they do record the pH level on the water. They do record time of the year. They do record how long they cook the dye. They record everything. So that means these artisans are not just rug artisans. They're like a scientist. So they
if you're thinking about a cool school project, sorry, homeschool mom coming, get some cochineal, get some indigo, get water from different sections in Manitoba, and see what types of different dyes.
Yeah, because the water has a huge
Fun
impact.
Saturday activity.
Yes.
Now you have a glimpse inside our kids' life.
These are 9 by 12 in size now. Again, a rug will, if family was to do everything themselves, spinning, dyeing the wool, everything, 3 years to make one rug.
We have just a couple more here.
See how unique these rugs are. And here's the last one. So, ta-da. Only about 50 rugs that we flipped, so just amazing how unique every rug is.
Okay, so Jenny and Yusuf, we are really enjoying watching your presentation here. This is great, learning so much. I can't even imagine how cool of a world this is that you guys live in. So, as you mentioned, you guys have been married for over 20 years, doing this together. So, but you started at Bunyad, did I say that right? Bunyad?
Yes.
You both started at Bunyad first. Correct. Okay, so what brought you to this company? What drew you to this organization?
So I started actually working with 10,000 Villages and was one of the youngest assistant managers where we were working, and so hence got to be the one that helped with moving rugs and flipping rugs and such, and met up with this lovely young man who was equally passionate about empowering people around the world through fair pay. And so we got to talking, and 10 years later we got the clue that we sort of liked each other more than that, and we tied the knot. So been working
10 years, that's a long, that's a slow burn, 10 years. That's a slow burn.
Well, we were busy in between, traveling, working, and wasn't always there. So, but the good thing is we've been married now over 22 years.
I think what's fun for us is when we're in Pakistan, and since so many of the artisans that we work with work together, husband and wife together, in their looms, on their home, one of the biggest ways that we can make that instant connection is we can go, so how's it work? Like if he didn't do the dishes this morning and you made all the roti, but he didn't fit, how do you work it when you're working on the loom? And the artisans will often just chuckle and go, we have to, we sit together on the loom day in and day out. We need to make a gorgeous rug. We figure out this personal stuff on the side. So it's just, I love that we're all doing it together. We're all
it's like a connection you have, right? Like that partnership, right? And partnership goes beyond just romance, and bringing that into work and all that stuff. So Yusuf, for you come from Pakistan, right? And so how long have you been in Canada?
Well, I've been here in North America for over 25 years now.
And so, sorry to interrupt, but when you came here, were you part of this rug and all this stuff when you moved
I
here?
came to do a fair trade job. Yeah, so I've been affiliated with 10,000 Villages ever since. As a matter of fact, my job was to work with 10,000 Villages coming here. So I traveled different stores, and the goal was to figure out potential for this product and also tell the story of fair trade, also be able to guide the artisans what's going on in North America, what kind of rugs people like, what kind of environment people live in, because artisans sitting back then, internet wasn't as readily available to people. So to have a direct feedback to the artisan made a huge difference.
So you're kind of like that connection between the artisans and the consumer. So how much do you love doing this when it's like connecting your home of roots to your home of now?
I love it because I've loved rugs all my life, mainly because my first memory is 4 years old, my dad working on a loom. Both my dad's side of the family, 95% people are rug makers. So I grew up with the rug making. My aunts were working on the looms, my cousins even making rugs. And we all went to school, got good education, but everybody knows how to make rugs. And the goal was to pass down the tradition. And that's been going on with every artisan family. Some are more successful than the other, but the goal is, when it comes to fair trade, is making sure that the artisan has the ability to provide education for their children, provide 3 meals a day, have that roots, have the base, perfectly designed so they can have the stage to grow into people they are. And also choose individual rug, make the rug they like to make. Also use resources locally, and so develop the village rather than go somewhere else.
Very cool. So keep passing that on generation to generation. It's so important. So another fun fact is your son is here.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So this duo is actually a trio of travel.
It is actually a trio. He's been homeschooled since the get-go so that he could be part of the travels. And because quite honestly, I think the more we learn about the communities that we work with and live in, the smaller the world becomes. We love coming to Brandon because Brandon for us represents what we see in so many village communities, where there's that pride in being a community, pulling together to make things work, and the pride of staying in the home community and developing that home community. And I know people have been telling us about how much Brandon has grown, and yet you can see as it's grown, how it's just encompassed so many different peoples and communities.
And that's what I love about Brandon. I grew up in Vancouver, but then I came here, and I love how connected everyone is, right? You're 1 degree of separation, so you have to behave yourself because you can guarantee that person knows somebody. So it's like that small town, but with some of the big city amenities.
I grew up in a big city like that, and yet you are not far from, somebody knows you.
Yeah.
So growing up, if you went on a date, did something, that was already told by somebody back home, like, what? Where were you today?
So you can't get away with anything. So how many of these events do you guys do per year?
So BIZ does about 40 different events across North America each year. We are a staff of 10, and about 5 of us go around and meet up in the different communities doing exactly this, just education and talking and really communicating the whole fair trade mission.
So you do about 40 of these events, and then you also travel overseas?
Correct. Back and forth to Pakistan.
Okay, so how many times a year do you go back to Pakistan?
Usually I go twice a year. Yeah, goal is to connect with the artists and tell them, give them a direct feedback so they know what the consumers are looking for. Also learn what they're dealing with. And so trying to mesh the two sides, because rugs take so long to produce one, and all the challenges of life are part of that. So trying to connect the two sides is always the goal.
And I think the only entity that does not care for all of our travel is our Director of Stain Resistancy. Our Director of Stain Resistancy is a 3-year-old schnoodle. He does all of his work at home, but he really prefers when we are at home and not out traveling.
Yes, I can imagine. He gets a little antsy when everyone leaves.
He might do more of his work when we're not home.
So that actually leads into my next question. How many of these rugs do you guys have in your house?
Well, you know, when you're married to your work and married to your coworker, it is an occupational hazard. But in all seriousness, we often joke that we have a hard time buying appliances and cars and things like that. But making the decision on a rug, it's easy peasy because it does not age. It moves with you. It does not get old. And it just constantly produces home, no matter where it is. And so for us, shopping for rugs is dangerous and easy.
I was going to say, it's probably like you have to hold yourself back.
Yeah,
like you have to be like, I can't, it's like stray puppies. I can't take them all home. Not to compare rugs to a stray puppy, but it's like,
no,
you know, you want all of them. You want all the rugs.
It is very true that we both have our likes. We actually got married on a rug because for us that was the grounding portion of the ceremony, and it is something that when Nerez came into our lives, we then had his baby photos on top of that. We've done family photos, so that's just sort of what we wanted to pass down.
So this is more than just a job to you guys. This is a way of life. This is life. This is passion. This is
And this is community.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's like, look at how many people are here tonight. Like, all to celebrate both this art form, this special event of a store that's been here for 35 years, but also just the pride of having this event here and being able to sort of be a beacon for the community, saying this is how we can make a difference in the world.
The impact this town has for the world, people around the world.
Right.
You know, this community's work is impacting lives all around the world.
And that's what I think in a time, you know, where we maybe feel so powerless to things happening at a larger scale than the individual, like you said in your thing, as the individuals, what we can do is shop with our dollars, right, and contribute to that. And, you know, having events like this, supporting a store like this that is all handcrafted, you know, fair trade items is huge, right?
They're unique items. That's the other part. People don't realize how unique these items are. Because artisans getting the opportunity to create, and they're making these products that are so unique that otherwise wouldn't be possible.
Well, they're one of a kind. You're basically buying a one of a kind art piece, right? And that's something that, you know, you don't find at big box stores, right? And that's, you know, for me, as being with downtown, like that's one of the beauties of downtown is fostering stores like this that produce that art and those one-offs, right? So you're right, it's all connected, it's all community. So.
And what's great too is this store has space. So the rugs are here now through May 10. So the event goes till then, and they have made this an annual event. So they will
have. I helped unload rugs last year. Yeah, they didn't need my help this year. Dang it! But last year I was here hauling rugs in. So well, thank you, and I look forward to seeing you both next year. I will be here. You will be here. The rugs will be here.
And thank you for the support from this community. You know, the impact you have around the world.
Yes.
It's pretty amazing.
Come get a rug.